Studio to talk about the application is Aron Motswana, a former member of the Dr. Kenneth Kaunda region in the Northwest. Thank you so much for coming through. So let's talk about the involvement of Supra Mahumapelo, SOR as he is known in this court application. Initially, my understanding is that he was listed as a respondent, but now in a way has switched sides to become part of the people, the applicants. Does that help your case?
Yeah, thank you. It does help our case. It actually strengthens our case. It brings also an added advantage of the most brilliant legal minds in our country, Senior Counsel Dalimpofu. And we are hoping that he can also add some information in what has been happening in the Northwest during his time as the provincial chair. Remember, he's got a vast experience as the former secretary in that particular province, and he's been a long member of the ANC from the Youth League and so on and so on. So people who are actually now bestowed as PTT members in the Northwest, when Supra Mahumapelo was removed, are actual people that have been fighting Supra for almost now either 18 years or so, more than 18 years if I'm correct. And these are people who consistently have not been doing any work for the ANC, despite being some of them deployed by the ANC. All they did was to accuse Supra, come up with frivolous accusations against him, and because of that now, today, he's still being not recognized as a leader.
What issue in particular do you take with the National Executive Committee's decision to disband the leadership in the Northwest?
Look, I can say nothing except to say that this particular issue was just based on a narrow factional tendency. Because up to so far, despite several attempts by branches of the ANC in that particular province, and both of us who are applicants in the court, having to try to exhaust from the NEC the decision that they took, what was it based on. The NEC has up to so far failed to engage the branches of the Northwest, the leadership structures in that particular province, and to indicate to them what may have caused these particular drastic decisions to be taken. So we feel that as the applicant in this particular case, the decision by the NEC was irrational. It was motivated by a factional tendency to get rid of mainly people who did not agree.
Who are the factionalists that drove it in the National Executive Committee of the ANC, of which at that particular time Supra Mahumapelo would be party to some of these discussions as the then chairperson of the ANC in the Northwest?
Look, there are NEC members that have come out and spoken against the province. They have a particular interest in that particular province. One way or the other, they are known because in that NEC meeting that took that particular decision, various members of the NEC stood up and spoken against. Some of them were even deployed in the previous NEC that worked in the province between 2015 to 2017. But to our surprise, themselves having to work in that particular province failed to guide that particular members who are members of the PEC in that particular, and now at the same time turn around and now saying that that particular province is dysfunctional and all of this particular thing. The role of the NEC is to guide, is to play oversight over provinces and to strengthen provinces when the province faces challenge. It's not just to wake up and arrive at a decision to...
So spell out for us then what you want the court to do. Return the status quo ante, as they would say in law, return it to the point at which Supra Mahumapelo was chairperson with the full complement of the National Executive Committee, of the Provincial Executive Committee, excuse me.
It should be emphasized that it is not only about Supra. We are members of the ANC in our own right. Our constitutional obligation should not be taken away because of Supra is a chairperson of the province or so. The PEC that was elected was a collective PEC in 2015. It was not only about Supra. At the end of the day, we want the court to nullify the decision of the NEC to disband that particular and reinstate the powers of the PEC and allow that particular PEC to finish its term. It was only left with about 5 months. What the NEC could have arrived at was to indicate to, of which I was a member of that particular PEC, to indicate to us that this is your weak points, this is where you need to strengthen, and so on and so on. And within that particular 5 months, work with the PEC, the then PEC, to arrive at a peaceful and a productive a conference where a newly elected leadership would have been elected. So this, for me, is just to strengthen and to intensify part of the problems that they would have said divisions, and Northwest can just be singled out for divisions.
But you know, you just said now that you were a member of that PEC. Is this not you just trying to scupper the work of the provincial task team led by Job Mokgoro? For the longest time, there have been problems in the Northwest, and whenever other members would raise these issues, yourselves and the then chairperson would talk about people that you labeled Bomagana Khubuswa, the people who refused to be ruled and to be governed. Now the wheels have turned. Someone will say you just basically want to restore yourselves to positions of political advantage and scupper the work of the PTT.
I can tell you with certainty that these are members that have been causing problems in the Northwest. Some of them have been deployed as members of the legislature. They have not even attended a single by-elections in that particular province. Members of the ANC failing to do the work of the ANC. Now today, they are being rewarded with position. This is just a question of rewarding anarchy. This is just a question of rewarding factionalism.
So in your view, everything was fine in the Northwest?
No, not that we are saying there were no problems. There were problems.
Major problems.
There were problems in Eastern Cape. There are problems in KZ, and Northwest is just not immune from those.
Was it not in crisis?
It was not a crisis for me. It was not a crisis for me. For instance, I can tell you, if you can then dig deeper, it will then indicate that when Supra was removed, a bus that was sort of said that it was torched, that bus was not a bus that was functional. It was just taken and then put wheels. There were no people in that particular bus. So it was choreographed. It was choreographed.
Wait a minute. What was choreographed? The scenes that we saw of protests leading up to his resignation as premier? Choreographed?
Yeah,
across the province?
Across the province.
Everywhere that we saw it. Who choreographed this?
Choreographed. We'll come to that at a later stage. For now, we want to deal with the matter of the court.
So do you believe he should not have even resigned as premier?
We were against that.
Him resigning as premier?
We're against that.
He was doing a stellar job.
That's why,
in your view?
In my view, yes. Look, I wouldn't say there were no challenges. There are challenges in any other. Was he doing a stellar job? He was doing a stellar job.
Including in the health department, as we saw, the health department needed
to have the kind of
if
you want to remove a person, you can't remove a premier for problems that are in the health department. The MEC there should be responsible. I mean, 142 people died in Life SCD Medi. You don't remove Makura as a premier. You remove the MEC for health.
And the other departments that ended up needing
other departments also then has their MECs. I mean, you can't just say a collective legislature is only being micromanaged by one person. It's simply targeting and victimizing that particular individual. I mean, what are you saying about all of these other deployees? Because then they are there to assist and oversee those particular departments. So for me, you can't just remove a person for something else. And if we are to compare situations, the situation in health department in Gauteng was worse than in the Northwest. And
all right. So when is your case in court, very quickly?
We are back on Friday, and we are hoping that the case is going to be finalized on Friday. And we are hoping also that this matter is going to go our way.
Thank you so much for coming through and sharing those views with us. That is, of course, one of the people taking the part of the leaders of the ANC in the Northwest, taking that matter to court, trying to get the decision of the national leadership of the ANC to be reversed. Of course, that decision to disband the provincial leadership that was led by Supra Mahumapelo.